I am retro. I bid you welcome to the Sega Room. Join me, Retro, as we journey back to 1931 and review the timeless classic Dracula, if you dare. Bela Lugosi as the evil, sinister Count Dracula. Edward Van Sloan as Professor Van Helsing. Dwight Fry as Renfield. Helen Chandler as Mina. Frances Dade as Lucy. David Manners as John Harker. Stars in the cult classic Dracula, produced by Carl Laemmle and directed by Todd Browning. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel for another Hi-Fi Stereo movie review. I was just having a little bit of fun there, getting into. Well, that was my my funny attempt of getting into character there, right? But yeah, this is the movie in question, of course, is the original Dracula, 1931, starring Bela Lugosi. I mean, this is really, you could say this movie is the grandfather or godfather of like monster movies or horror movies, because this came out in 1931, okay, so that's 90 years ago, right? So 10 years from now we'll make 100 years. So that, but even now, 90 years is a long time ago. I don't think it's a stretch to say that any of you watching this video probably aren't 90 years old. You're probably much younger than that. So yeah, 90 years is a long time ago. So it definitely, you could say it definitely has stood the test of time, right? Because people love it to this day, even though, it was made that long ago. It's black and white. All of the actors that, was in the movie, of course, are passed away now, which, that's to be expected, I mean, 90 years, of course, they were middle-aged or maybe in their 20s or at the time, right? But yeah, I still enjoy this movie. I've watched it so many times, I've lost count. And I will also just listen to this movie, right? As far as when I go to bed at night. there's something about it that I find comforting, right? It's just, I think a lot of it is the black and white. To me, black and white movies, it definitely takes you back to another time. It takes you back to a simpler time. Okay, so I guess there's just something comforting about that, you know. It's like it makes me wonder what it would have been like to live during that time, you know, to live without the modern conveniences we have today.
Hi, driver.
So yes, the original Dracula, it falls in the category of a classic vampire lore. Let's get a shot of the back here. Thought that's a good shot, good screenshot from the movie. Yeah, this particular VHS copy I have, this is like a remastered version, you know, because that's like that box art there. That's not the original. So yeah, I'm happy with this copy. Now it's not, you know, pristine as they've made like the Blu-ray copies now, where they was able to filter out or maybe I should say fill in the little blips in the thing, you know, the little blips of the old film. I actually, it may sound strange, I actually dig that stuff. It's like it, you know, watching it, because, you know, even though this is a remastered VHS, they did not, like, you know, do, like, go all that extreme, and, you know, it's more clear to watch, you know, than the original release was. They did not touch the film itself. They just basically enhanced how it looks on your VCR. But as far as the film itself goes, the content, as far as I know, they left it in its original form. They did not mess with that. Like your Blu-ray releases, they went in and they like doctored it, right, and peppered it like to where, you know, you don't see those little blips and the stuff, and it's like, I think that adds the charm to it, you know, adds to the charm to the movie, because that's like you're watching it in its original form. Okay, I guess call me a purist. That's fine, you know. I'll take that. I'll accept that title, because like that, I want to see it in its original form. I don't want you messing with it, you know. Like, yeah, make it look clear or whatever as much as you can, but don't touch the content itself, okay? Yeah, like some movies they've done that. Like they did that with Jaws. Okay, I noticed they changed the sound of the explosion at the end when the shark blows up. They changed the sound of the explosion. And to me, when they changed it, it's like, I liked the original one better. It's like, it kind of sounded a little lame. It almost, I mean, what they did was they made it not as noisy. It was like, not as loud. The explosion wasn't as loud. It's like, why would you do that, you know? And the original Terminator, that was another one I noticed where when Arnold walks in and he kills that first woman, which is also called Sarah Connor, with his .45 long slide with laser sighting, okay? In the original, it's like you hear the full bang of the gun. Later on, when they did a re-release, and when they, like I said, when they messed with it, it sounded like there was a silencer on it. I'm like, or suppressor, whatever you want to call it. It's like, that's what it sounds like, but he did not put a silencer on the gun. So it's like, again, what? Don't mess with it. Don't mess with the movie itself. If you can do whatever to make it look just more clear as it is, fine. That's great. But just don't mess with the movie itself. So that's how I feel about movies. It's like, I want it in its original form so I can see it how those people at the time, so I can see, what they created. Okay? I don't want to see this later version and that you tampered with and like because you think it should be that way. It's like, leave it alone. Okay, back to this movie. Classic vampire lore. What do I mean by that? That means vampires cannot exist during the day. They do not sparkle in sunlight. Okay? No, I know. If you watch the Twilight movies, it'll show you that. It'll say, yeah, he sparkles. That's why you avoid the sunlight, because you're so beautiful and you're sparkling. And when I seen that, I'm like, yeah, you lost me. Click, shut it off. I'm done. I'm out. I'm out. Yeah. Once I seen that, I'm just like, nah, no thanks. So yeah, they don't sparkle in sunlight. They burn. They actually catch on fire. Okay. The wooden stake in the heart. They sleep in coffins during the day, and they rise when the sun goes down. So like in the movie, From Dusk Till Dawn, that's like where that came from. Even though that movie took some liberties too, but that's another story for another video. Also, the good old cross, right? Here's my trusty cross. This acted as a vampire repellent, so you could, with confidence, but you could go back and you could be like, back, you spawn of Satan. But you have to have faith in it, though. You must have total faith in it for it to work. That's a little Fright Night lore there. That's one I will do a movie review of that one as well. The 1985 Fright Night. Yeah, not that piece of crap remake. I'm not a fan of remakes, in case you guys didn't know. Just saying. But yeah, here's the trusty old cross. That's you put that in front of the vampire and it scares them away. They can't stand the sight of it. Okay, so they'll either like turn their head or they'll flee. Okay. There's holy water. So yeah, those are the basics, right? That's classic vampire lore. That's what this movie is, and those are the kind of movies I like as far as vampire movies goes. So, and I do have quite a few vampire movies in my collection. But about the movie, what can you say about it? I mean, if you haven't seen it by now, by all means, check it out. I'm sure it's available to watch either like streaming, or if you can't find it streaming, or I know you can find it streaming. Just all depends on, sometimes you may have to pay for it. Of course, you can always go to trusty old eBay and get it on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, probably even Laserdisc if you have one of those things. I never had a Laserdisc player. I always thought about getting one, maybe. So that's kind of on the someday maybe shelf. I may look into that just as a novelty thing, just to experience it, right, and see what it was like. So yeah, and the great thing about this movie is it's not that long. It's only like an hour and 15 minutes running time. So yeah, it's like, it'll be over before you know it. But that running time though, every minute is enjoyable, and it's a very like atmospheric movie. Okay, so this movie, being made in 1931, it's not going to have the all blood and guts and gore that newer more modern movies have, but it just has a creepiness and an eeriness there. Like Dracula, he saw the blood there, and then his animal instinct kicked in, and he was drawn to the blood there. The cross temporarily saved Renfield, but look at that deviance on the looks of Dracula's face there. Like, that was the thing about these movies back then, was it was more of a mental thing, you're not going to see the gore, but it's more like, it's more like sinister. There's a sinister plan involved and going on, and that's kind of the appeal of this, is like, see the look right there that Dracula's giving him as he gave him the wine there. Like, Dracula is up to something. He's like, he has not very good intentions here. He's up to something. But that's the thing. That's the thing about it. It's like, that's like really the appeal to it. It's like you don't know. It's like so it's like, I guess it comes down to suspense, and I like that, because really, honestly, guts and gore really bore me. I like the mental aspect of things a lot. Now, I do like the classic slashers like Friday the 13th and Halloween, which, have a lot more gore in it than this. But even those movies are tame, in comparison to like the Saw movies or Hostel or, some of those other ones. But yeah, Renfield drunk that wine, and it's going to make him pass out there, and then Dracula's going to come in. Yeah, those are Dracula's brides. That he has three wives, I guess. So they, of course, they are vampires, but they, of course, are bloodthirsty also. That's why they were heading towards Renfield. But, of course, Dracula is shunning them away and basically letting them know that Renfield belongs to him. So, told them they need to skedaddle. Like, the way they designed the sets, and it just pulls you in, okay? You just feel like you're there. I mean, I would suggest watching it on like preferably at night. If that's not an option, my next recommendation would be like to maybe on a gloomy afternoon where it's still not. It just has that feel, just to set the mood, right? So I'm just kind of quirky about that. I like to, depending on what's going on, what the current conditions are, that kind of dictates the mood. So, for example, I don't want to watch Halloween on a very bright sunny day. It just doesn't jive. So, but yeah, Bela Lugosi as Dracula. He does a great job.
For one who has not lived even a single lifetime, you are a wise man, Van Helsing.
See what I meant there? He's just like, just the way he talks. He talks very slow and distinct, and just creepy, eerie, just the whole time. Bela Lugosi really set the bar high, when he portrayed Dracula. Yeah, he speaks very slow, very distinct, very intentional. He does not mix words at all. So yeah, this is a timeless classic. He is from Transylvania, So basically the gist of the story is he's from Transylvania, and he wants to, you know, visit what they would call like the New World, or where like the civilization, because he's kind of like out. He has, you know, his castle in Transylvania is kind of out and very remote. He's kind of out there by himself. You know, I mean, there is like a little town. I mean, it's not like right next door. There's a little town like in the area, but you know, it's kind of like, you get the idea. It's like a rural countryside, hills and mountains, and there's a narrow path to his castle, you know, so it's kind of, it is out in the boonies. It's out in a remote location, but he goes to you know, London, England. He charters a ship because he wants to see the New World. So therefore when he basically he's being introduced into civilization, and he's walking amongst, you know, living human beings, and so it's kind of like, it just kind of pulls you in, and you're like, what's he gonna do? What's his plan? What's he gonna do? Right? Because it shows him walking the streets of London, and he's a vampire, and it doesn't take him long before he finds a victim, right? But he's still so far going undetected, right? So that's like, yeah. So Dracula chartered a ship from his homeland of Transylvania to London, England. So here he is in London now. He's all dressed up, but he's out on the prowl. He still needs blood. See, look at like I'm saying, you look at them. Look, he's just staring you down. It's like he's like looking right through you. I like this scene as he's walking the streets of London there. So he's amongst the living, and you know, he's going there undetected right now. So it's like they did a really good job of. I just like the feeling they gave of how he's invaded civilization, but he's going undetected so far. So it just was kind of building up, you know, building the suspense, and it's like, what's he going to do now? What's his plans? What's his plans involve here? So it's kind of like a chess game. Like I said, it's not going to be your blood and guts and gore. You know, it's not going to be Freddy or Jason or Texas Chainsaw Massacre or any of that stuff. There he is. He made his appearance. He flew in as a bat and then transformed into this form. Yeah, for 1931, you know, this was very, like, radical at the time, you know, very, like, you know, they just didn't do stuff like this, back then, you know, they just didn't do stuff like that. You know, just the look of Dracula there, he just looks so stoic, you know, so, like, eerie, like, you don't know what he's gonna do. I think he could win. I think he would win in a stare down. So yeah, Dracula is in the civilized world, and so it's like, he has his intentions are not good. So it's up to Dr. Van Helsing to see if he can stop him. Basically, that's what it comes down to. Professor Van Helsing against Dracula, if he can stop him or not. So that's going to do it for this review. If this is your first time to the channel, tap that red subscribe button and then the bell next to it, ding ding, and that way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. So until next time, guys, keep it retro. So yeah, this is my 99th video on YouTube, so make sure you stay tuned, subscribe, and hit the bell, That way you'll be notified, because I do have something special planned for my 100th video. So stay tuned.